Imagine drifting through the absolute void of the Virgo constellation, 57 light-years from the fragile warmth of Earth. Out here, the darkness does not merely surround you, it swallows you. And then, you see it. A colossal, bloated phantom suspended in the freezing ink of the cosmos. This is GJ504b. But it does not wear the familiar, icy blue of Neptune or the swirling, majestic gold of Jupiter. It glows. It burns with a deep, suffocating, magenta-pink light, a shade of crimson so unnatural it looks like an open wound festering in the dark. For years, the public viewed this world as a cosmic novelty, a whimsical pink planet fit for a textbook footnote. But behind the closed doors of NASA, the tone is entirely different. For astrophysicists, GJ504b is not a curiosity, it is a mathematical nightmare that defies the very laws of how we believe worlds are born. Under the core accretion model, a giant planet this far from its parent star simply should not exist. It is a cosmic impossibility, a monument of rogue physics that shatters our understanding of planetary genesis. Yet, the true terror of this world is not just its rule-breaking existence, but the sheer, hostile physics of its atmosphere. This is not a solid sphere, but a raging, thermonuclear furnace cloaked in darkness. Its pink hue is not a reflection of starlight, but the literal glow of its own agonizing, residual heat. The planet is smoldering at over 460 degrees Fahrenheit. To descend into its clouds is to drown in a pressurized ocean of superheated gas, where the atmosphere itself is heavy enough to crush a human skull to dust in a fraction of a millisecond. Humanity has an ancient, evolutionary dread of the dark, but GJ504b forces us to confront a far more paralyzing existential horror, the dread of a light that should not be. It is the realization that the universe is not a silent, sleeping giant, but a chaotic gallery of violent, alien furnaces that operate on rules we cannot comprehend. We look at this glowing pink eye staring back at us from the abyss, and we are forced to ask, if a world this massive, this hostile, can exist in defiance of our science, what other terrifying anomalies are waiting for us in the dark? We fear GJ504b because it proves that the deeper we venture into the cosmos, the more we realize that our laws of nature are nothing more than fragile illusions, easily shattered by the terrifying reality of the deep universe. 57 light-years from Earth, suspended in the absolute void, hangs a cosmic contradiction. A phantom that should not exist. This is GJ504b. In the cold, calculating logic of astrophysics, time is a thief of heat. When giant planets are born, they scream with the fierce, incandescent fire of creation. But as the eons grind onward, that thermal energy dissipates into the endless dark. By all established laws of planetary evolution, an ancient gas giant billions of years old should have long since surrendered its warmth. It should be a frozen, dead husk, invisible against the black velvet of the cosmos. Yet, when we look into the abyss, GJ504b stares back, glowing with an eerie, deep space magenta. It radiates a persistent, feverish heat of 500 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a world refusing to die, burning with a ghostly, pinkish light that defies the very timeline of our universe. But the horror of GJ504b is not merely its unnatural warmth. It is where this giant chooses to dwell. It orbits its host star at a staggering, lonely distance, far beyond where the warm, dust-rich nurseries of planetary birth can exist. According to our most trusted core accretion models, there simply was not enough solid material at this extreme, frozen frontier to ever stitch together a planet of this gargantuan mass. To build a giant, you need a heavy, rocky core to pull the surrounding gas into a crushing embrace. But out there, in the barren wasteland of the outer stellar system, there was nothing but empty, freezing vacuum. And yet, it is there. How does a planet that cannot form manifest in the dark? What hidden, violent mechanics of gravity and thermodynamics are unfolding in the deep silence, entirely undetected by our science? To stand on the non-existent surface of GJ504b would be to drown in a thick, choking atmosphere of toxic gas, illuminated only by a perpetual, dim pink twilight. It is a monument to our own scientific ignorance. It is a planetary anomaly that whispers a terrifying truth: the rules we have written to explain the cosmos are fragile, incomplete, and perhaps entirely wrong. We thought we understood how worlds were born. We thought we understood how they died. But in the magenta glow of GJ504b, the universe laughs at our equations, leaving us to wonder what other impossible nightmares are waiting for us in the dark. On Earth, we are taught to trust the color pink. It is the soft flush of a newborn's cheek, the gentle warmth of a spring blossom, the quiet reassurance of life and innocence. But out here, in the freezing, absolute dark of the Virgo constellation, the color pink is a lie. Look at GJ504b. It does not merely exist, it glows. It radiates a deep, feverish magenta, burning like a freshly severed organ suspended in a vacuum. This is not the welcoming warmth of a hearth. This is a predatory beauty. It is the deceptive, hypnotic lure of a deep-sea anglerfish, beckoning us into the crushing black. To look upon this world is to experience a profound, cosmic uncanny. Our minds instinctively recoil because GJ504b represents a primal, terrifying mutation. It is a giant planet that behaves like a dying star, a colossus trapped in a state of perpetual, feverish agony. It burns at over 400 degrees Fahrenheit, yet it has no internal furnace, no nuclear heart to sustain it. It is a world that refuses to cool down, a planetary corpse that refuses to rot, clinging to an unnatural, eternal heat. It feels wrong. It violates our ancestral understanding of how the universe should behave. And that is the true, existential horror that keeps astrophysicists awake in the dead of night. GJ504b shouldn't be there. According to our most advanced core accretion models, the very mathematical pillars we use to map and understand the cosmos, a planet of this immense mass could never have formed so incredibly far from its parent star. This glowing magenta nightmare is a physical proof of our own ignorance. It stands as a mocking testament to the fact that our formulas are blind, our telescopes are merely scratching the surface of a dark reality, and our understanding of planetary creation is fundamentally flawed. We soothe ourselves with neat equations, but the universe does not play by our rules. Out in the deep silence, planetary systems are not born of elegant, orderly physics. They are forged in chaotic, violent, and abnormal mutations that we cannot predict. GJ504b is a silent, glowing warning. It tells us that the cosmos is not a grand, harmonious machine built for us to decipher. It is a vast, uncaring wilderness, populated by beautiful, feverish monsters that defy our math, mock our science, and burn forever in the dark. The universe does not care about our comfort. It does not design its wonders to soothe the human eye. When NASA's telescopes first pierced the blackness 57 light-years away, they expected to find a cold, dead giant. Instead, they stared into a burning, magenta eye. This is GJ504b. To the untrained mind, its cherry-blossomed hue is a cosmic novelty, a beautiful, exotic anomaly drifting in the deep dark. But to the physicists who decode its light, that pink glow is a terrifying siren. It is the color of a planet that refuses to die, a colossal world trapped in a state of eternal, agonizing fever. Imagine a world several times more massive than Jupiter, yet glowing with the dull, angry heat of a dying furnace. This is not the gentle warmth of a summer sun, it is a suffocating, crushing radiation. If you were to descend into its atmosphere, your ship would not merely crash, it would melt into vapor long before touching a solid surface. The air itself is a thick, swirling ocean of superheated gas, screaming at over 460 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a place where the clouds are not made of water, but of vaporized rock and molten iron, raining down in a relentless, scorching deluge. The pink light you see from afar is the thermal radiation of its own birth, a violent heat trapped inside a massive gravity well, unable to escape, cooking the planet from the inside out. NASA fears GJ504b because it defies the very laws of how we believe solar systems form. It sits so far from its host star that, by all traditional calculations of astrophysics, it should not exist. It is a planetary ghost, a giant that formed in a vacuum of dust where nothing should have grown. It stands as a chilling monument to our own ignorance, a stark reminder that the laws of physics we cling to on our fragile blue rock are merely local suggestions. Out there, in the freezing void, gravity and thermodynamics play by rules that mock our understanding. To look upon GJ504b is to stare into the face of a cosmic aberration. It is a beautiful nightmare, a glowing pink ember drifting through an endless ocean of absolute zero. It forces us to confront the unsettling truth of our place in the cosmos. We are small, we are fragile, and the universe is filled with colossal, burning monsters that defy our reason, waiting silently in the dark. 57 light-years away, nestled in the constellation Virgo, lies a cosmic crime scene that defies the laws of planetary birth. When our infrared eyes first pierced the darkness of this system, they did not find the cold, quiet shadow of a giant planet. Instead, the sensors screamed. They registered a blinding, violent eruption of thermal energy, painted in a shade of dark, suffocating cherry blossom. A dull, bruised magenta. To look upon GJ504b is to stare into a planetary furnace that shouldn't exist. This is not a world warmed by a gentle sun, it is a gas giant radiating its own primeval, agonizing heat, burning at nearly 500 degrees Fahrenheit. But it is the physics of this glow that terrifies the minds at NASA. According to every established model of core accretion, a planet of this scale has no right to exist where it does, 44 times further from its host star than Earth is from the Sun. At that frozen, desolate distance, there should not have been enough material to build a world. Yet, there it floats. A bloated, for Jupiter mass anomaly, glowing like an exposed, pulsing organ in the deep freeze of the vacuum. But the horror deepens. When the James Webb Space Telescope recently stripped away the blinding glare of its parent star, the true chemistry of this nightmare was laid bare. This is a world choked not in water or familiar gas, but enveloped in thick, suffocating clouds of vaporized salt. Imagine a sky where the very air is a caustic, crystalline brine, swirling through a hot, pressurized abyss. It forces us to confront an existential dread. Are we looking at a failed star, a brown dwarf trapped in a perpetual, agonizing state of near ignition? Or is this a planetary monstrousness born from a chaotic cosmic mechanism we are too primitive to comprehend? GJ504b is a silent, glowing warning. It tells us that the universe does not care about our neat, orderly equations. Out there, in the dark, the cosmos is busy forging beautiful, terrifying aberrations, wrapped in salt and glowing in the bruised, bleeding pink of a dying star.